Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for having us this evening. We really appreciate everyone taking the time out of their busy schedule, as everyone has families and trying to manage calendars is tricky, as we know. So we do appreciate the time that you are giving us this evening to learn a little more about Childhood Cancer Canada and our programs that we are currently offering. So right now we're going to do the presentation, accessing Childhood Cancer Canada programs and kind of everything that you need to know about that. So quick introduction to everyone. I'm Jennifer Hooper. I am the National Program Manager and Office Administrator at CCC. And I'm joined with me today is Angie Ramajo, our Interim Executive Director at CCC.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us, and thank you, OPAC, for hosting us here today. So just a little bit of an overview about Childhood Cancer Canada. We are committed to supporting families and helping to improve outcomes for kids across Canada who are living with cancer. We've been around since 1987. And we've changed our ways in many ways, but one thing that has remained steady and consistent is that we support we invest in national collaborative research across the country. We work with the C17 Council and invest in the Profile program as well, and have wonderful programs where we actually provide direct support to families. And that's through our Empower Pack program, our Emergency Fund program, our Benevolent Fund program, and our Survivor Scholarship program. So just, here's a quick snapshot of us over the last 20 years. We have supported or provided over $55 million in terms of funds for families and research. We've invested $10.7 million in research and clinical trials. We have awarded $2.4 million in scholarships. This number will change because we've just awarded an additional 160 to 166. These numbers are still being audited right now. Our fiscal year closed in September, so we're going through that process, but we were so wonderfully excited to be signing checks and delivering them to Survivor Scholarships recipients just a few weeks ago, and they were put in the post. So that's one of our wonderful and exciting moments that we get to celebrate in the office. We have provided families with emergency funds, 796 at this point, but we've definitely had a very big year, and that's also due to the economic climate that we're seeing these days. So that program in essence started in 2020 through the COVID pandemic, and we've continued it on just because we completely understand the challenges that families face while their kid has been diagnosed with cancer and they're going through their treatment process. We have delivered over, I would say we're now way over this number here, but 1497 Empower Packs for children who have been newly diagnosed with cancer. And this provides these, our lovely kids with some joy and delight, as well as some educational resources for families. And we have dispersed over $600,000 to over 587 families across Canada who unfortunately have had to honor their child through a funeral service or memorial services. So that is what we've done in the last 20 years or so, and we continue to grow and expand on these programs, and that happens through donations from individuals, corporate partners, sponsors. We work very closely with volunteers as well to try to make these programs and initiatives happen. I'm going to pass this on to Jennifer at this point. She is our program manager, and she can speak a little bit more about all the different programs that we have and how you can access them.
Wonderful. Thank you, Angie. So really how we support our families is through our 4 main programs. And of course, what Angie also touched on was our involvement in research and clinical trials. So today I'll be mostly focusing on our 4 programs, but there will be some information later on about what else we do. So as Angie mentioned, we have our 4 programs currently. We have our Emergency Fund, our Empower Pack Survivors Scholarship, and our Benevolent Fund. So all of these programs are accessible online by families, and also by social workers. So we will be providing links and our website at the end of the presentation. But if you wanted to write it down now, it's childhoodcancer.ca. So that is our website. Let's just move on. So just a little bit of program history, just to show you kind of where we are. We are everywhere in Canada. So if you know other families if you've connected with other families outside of the province of Ontario, you can also let them know about our services, as well as we are open to supporting everyone on a national level. So you can see from the map that the biggest impact that we've made so far is in Ontario, followed by Alberta and Quebec as well. So, but again, we are open to every province in supporting the families there. Our emergency fund. So our emergency fund, as Angie mentioned, it was established in 2020 based on the economic need from families at that time. So our emergency fund is a one-time payment of $250. The application is completed online. With what's included is your social worker's details and a description of what the funds will be used for. So that's important to note, just because one-word answers we'd like a little more of an explanation, or just to let us know. We know that there's so many needs that families have. So, just a quick explanation, like transportation or medicine not covered by OHIP, groceries, utilities. Like, we know that laundry list is really long, but if you want to break it down to a few, then that is great. So when you do apply to our emergency fund, our requests are all viewed by a volunteer committee. So our volunteer committee is made up of 3 individuals that are based throughout Canada. So just to give us, a bird's eye view of that. So we're quite happy with having other people evaluate based on need as well. So that's one thing to point out, and that's why that there is a bit of a time lag. So when from start to finish, we usually say that checks are mailed within 4 to 5 weeks from a date of application, because that is a committee review, and then we need to cut the checks and send them out through Canada Post. So that's kind of the timeline on the emergency fund. Our second biggest program is our Empower Packs. So as children are diagnosed, we know that the need is great for keeping them entertained and happy, and just really ensuring that they're making use of the time that they have when they're in the hospital. We know that they're taking time away from friends, from family, from school. So we want to keep them connected. So part of our Empower Pack is providing a tablet for every child, because we know that being close to family and friends and community is really important. So even regardless of the child's age, because unfortunately we know that kids are diagnosed even in infancy, we still provide the tablet, because we know mom, dad, or caregiver is with them at the hospital, and life doesn't stop. So again, keeping communication open with community and family is important to us. We also include resource material for parents and caregivers. So we provide pamphlets on leukemia and lymphoma, and we have literature as well that we send in our Empower Packs. We also, along with our partners, we receive some wonderful in-kind donations from JR Toys. So we do receive, things that we try to personally curate in our Empower Packs based on age and by preference. Again, the application is completed online, and we try to mail out the package within 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how busy we are, or as when we were working through the pandemic, there were obviously supply issues with a lot of our manufacturers when it came to the tablets. So sometimes grace is involved, but we try our best to get them out as soon as possible to the families that need them. So again, our primary sponsors are Yellow Bus Foundation, Walmart, JR Toys, and so we're quite lucky to have them working alongside us. We also have our survivor scholarships, and we know how extremely important this is, and we are so excited when we get to read these applications. As you know, these kids are so strong, and reading about all of the experiences that they're to be a part of their life at this point is so inspiring and exciting, because we know what it's like to go off to school and combine that with everything else. It's amazing hearing their stories and knowing how they're about to embark on leaving the nest at home as well. So it's a huge step. So we do provide an award of $1,500 for scholarships. It is a 2-step process, and sorry, let me backtrack. It is a annual program, so it is open specifically March 1st until April 30th is when we accept the applications online. And again, the award is for $1,500. So it's a 2-step process, because there are some other factors we have to consider when granting the scholarship applicants. So the first step is in the spring, applicants are required to fill out the form online. Along with the form, we need to have a letter signed either by their oncologist or their family doctor. And really, that's just to indicate that, yes, they were diagnosed with a pediatric cancer prior or on their 18th birthday. So that is that's our so-called vetting system, if you will, when we're just ensuring that the money gets into the right hands. So that's the reason why we stress that. And then also, just to ensure we kind of connect the dots and we get to see all of their lovely smiling faces. So a photo, and then their social insurance number. And that's really because it is a taxable event from our side. We do produce T4 slips. So that's kind of the tax financial information there, but because we will send out that information later. So then the second process, after we've reviewed their applications and know that they're applying for post-secondary school. So the post-secondary school itself can be a college, it can be a university, it can be a trade. So we're pretty open to what type of school it is. And we've even had, basic life skills schools as well that kids have gone to, and we still accept and process those as well. So it's not just college, university, it is trades as well, just to keep that in mind. So the second portion, once they go through the committee process of review and we accept and approve their applications, all of the applicants will receive a letter indicating their status. So from there, we really kind of wait until the fall. That kind of comes with, after you pay for tuition, we need the proof of enrollment to go along with the post-secondary school. So that proof of enrollment really tells us that, yes, we are going to be attending, and this is where we're going, and the program length and the history as well. So unfortunately, just we can't accept like a statement balance or a congratulatory letter, like a pre-acceptance, pre-admission letter. So it has to be proof of enrollment. And then a thank you letter. So because we do have a committee, a panel that will review these applications on an individual basis, we do like to have a thank you letter that supports, that lets the donors know that why this has impacted them, and just how it will impact them going forward. So once that's all done, like we had a deadline this year of September 15th, to give you an example of that deadline, to have everything in by. And then once we review everything, we send those checks out as soon as possible, because we know that the next installment of tuition is usually due in December. So we do get that out the first week of October as soon as possible. And again, our funding partner is extremely important. We've had CIBC really step up last year, and hopefully again this year for their large donation of $150,000. So this is the kind of impact that Childhood Cancer Canada is really excited to make a mark in this, and to help the kids, right, make their mark. So I think that's really the full circle there, and also Teva Canada. Our last program is our Benevolent Fund. So we know that sometimes families will need support with the celebration of life of some unfortunate situations. So we know that that's an added layer that adds stress to families during a difficult time already. So we definitely have a program that is available, and we do cover up to $1,500 for a memorial service and things of that nature. So we work one-on-one with the social worker with that one, so families don't have to complete these forms. This is directly with the social worker. So we take care of that aspect. And then our funding partners as Kindred Foundation and TD Securities underwriting hope. And next, what we also try to do is move the needle with the research. So Angie works very closely with the members of C17. So Angie will bring us into the loop of all the exciting things that we're making headway with here with the research component.
No, that's great. Thanks, Jennifer. So just in terms of research in general, last year we were able to deliver over $600,000 worth of investment towards research, and that was in conjunction with the C17 partnership that we have. They are comprised of 16 of the pediatric oncology and hematology centers across Canada, and we essentially work with them to on the 100% fund, we look at different grant calls for grant applicants for different research initiatives that are going to help sort of uncover new therapies for kids or kids' cancers that we haven't necessarily seen in the past. Most recently, we sat on a panel with scientists to review 4 different applications focused on osteosarcoma and rhabdomyosarcoma research. So we're excited to see what the panel decides from there. I know they've green lighted one of the researchers that submitted their grant, and I know that there are some probing questions on the other 3. So we're looking forward to seeing what would come out of that. But the one in particular with osteosarcoma is really to just try to identify the toxicity levels within treatments to improve outcomes for kids, especially considering that osteosarcoma has not really changed. There has not been any improvements or research initiatives done in the last 20 years. And so this is something new and exciting that we're going to be embarking on. Additionally, we provide funding for Profile to ensure that kids who have a hard to treat cancer have an opportunity um, to get genetic testing and to see what other kinds of treatments are available for them. So that is, those are our main programs. And then right now we're working with 5 other organizations, we are the 6th, together with the Kindred Foundation to look at brain tumor research. It's an initiative that it's a 4-year project that we are reviewing the applications right now as well, and looking to make an announcement of what that project will look like in the next week or so, I believe. So that is where we are. That is what we do. The work doesn't stop there. We're always sort of open and interested to learn about what else is happening, where are the gaps, where can we be supporting families, and not just with our own with our own self or our own organization, but collaboratively with others like OPAC and national partners as well. The last program that we have, it's not necessarily a direct financial program or research program, but it is a celebratory program that we'd like to focus in on, which is our Hero of the Month. So each month we share a story about a child who is undergoing their treatment or has overcome their cancer diagnosis, and this is a way that we sort of create awareness that kids do get cancer, because that is something that people still have a hard understanding about. I don't know that they believe it. I mean, sadly, we do see these applicants come through, like kids, within the age of 3 months old, are diagnosed with cancer, and it's mind-boggling. It's beyond words. But this is sort of our moment to celebrate these young heroes who are working through this, and their families are working through this, and how we can really rally communities together to support them. And so if you've got a young hero at home and you'd like to share their story, if you want to connect with Jennifer after this call, we'd be more than happy and to help share your story. I think that's it on the hero stories. And then lastly, I mean, our work we can't do all this work without fundraising. And so this is sort of an additional piece that we have available to us, and I'll let sort of Jen take over, and then we can open it up to the group for questions and feedback and some learnings.
Perfect. Thanks, Angie. So this is a new feature that we're really excited to launch, and to see all of the wonderful initiatives that communities across Canada will be starting. So we noticed that there is still a need or a want as well, just to, when people are hosting something, that they would love to be able to put a cause behind it. And so we're very proud and excited that a lot of people are starting to want to donate to Childhood Cancer Canada. So this is a great opportunity for people to build your own site. So we can have a lot of capacity and hopefully receive a lot more in donations. And as we do have a few fundraisers that are currently running. So if you are interested, you can check out the site as well, and just see. It's a great way too to check to see what events are happening in your area. So if you're ever interested in stopping by or starting your own fundraiser, feel free to build your own or get in touch with us as well. And so that brings us to the end of our presentation, and we did get through quite a lot of material very quickly. So don't be shy. Please ask as many questions as you need to, as you want to, because we are here to really listen and take back everything that you have to say. So Angie, do you have any other remarks on that?
No, I'm excited to hear what the group has to say.
For sure.
Thank you very much, Jennifer and Angie, for a great presentation and for letting us know about all these great programs of Childhood Cancer Canada. As I mentioned, if you have any questions about the programs, how to access them, or if you have any feedback on something that you wish was offered that you didn't quite see for the future to consider, please let us know or let them know. Just chime in or type it in the chat. And yeah.
Yeah, because really we are excited to hear anything. If you can, if you notice any gaps in programming from our discussion, or feel very strongly about something else that's missing in the community, then please let us know. So we're very open and yeah, we're very open to hear any feedback. So fire away.
Maybe while people think about it, I did have a question submitted in advance. A parent was asking about funding for kids to explore art therapy. I know that's not something you currently offer, but maybe that's something to consider, or if you know of any resources.
Yeah, so we, in our Empower Packs, we do, if we receive, it would be a small craft that would maybe go in the Empower Packs. We do have, an origami kit that we're currently giving out. It's not a consistent art therapy based, but it's more of a one time or multiple use type of item. So in terms of art therapy and working with a therapist in that regard, we don't have a specific program for art therapy itself, but in our Empower Packs, we do try to touch on the tactile and creative side of things.
Okay, thank you. Agatha has a question. Is a scholarship for post-secondary studies only?
So it's post-secondary in a way that it's after high school, but we do have college applications that come in, and we also have diploma programs. So we did have this year, we did have someone who was applying to become why am I blanking on that? A paramedic, that's it. So it was a 14-month course specific for becoming a paramedic that wasn't offered through the traditional college route. And again, also we have applicants as well that are going to like building a life skill course through not necessarily a college level, but again, a community-based life skill program post high school. So we are quite open. So if there's any gray area, we always just want the application and then we make a decision, right? Because again, our focus is just really ensuring that these, like your kids have the best opportunity for their future, right? So we are very pro school in any shape or form. So we're currently looking to see, we know that the landscapes of course are changing as well, so with schooling itself, so just trying to keep an open mind. So if there's any gray area, we always want the application. So hopefully that answers your question.
Michael has a statement. He said, only a few weeks into the situation, here to learn about options and find out what programs there are. Empower Pack sounds really great, and I know my daughter would love to receive something like this. Thanks for the presentation. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, no, we're glad to be here and be able to present this, because we know that the nursing staff, the social worker staff, they're as it's maybe shorter visits and it's not as long, and I'm sure that they're trying to stay abreast of all the information, as well as new organizations, not that we're new, but just new programming. So we're really trying to work hard with our partners to really get the news out. So thank you for letting us know that it wasn't suggested right away in your instance, but we're very happy to accept an application. So please look at our website and to complete one for your daughter for her Empower Pack.
Nevian asks, can we apply to Empower Packs even after overcoming the cancer? So is it for off treatment survivors or only for on treatment or in treatment?
So that's
It's an interesting
Angie.
I mean, you know, with every, it's such a hard, it's a hard question. And I, you know, when I think about the situation, you know, we always try to put our feet in your shoes, and try to understand, you know, the need. And so understanding what the need is, that would help us, and providing as much information in your application helps us determine, especially for these sort of, you know, different, like off the beaten path, I guess, applicants. They help us sort of determine how we make our decisions. In most cases, Empower Packs are, because they're focused on newly diagnosed children. Generally speaking, it is in active treatment. But again, you know, providing as much information as possible helps us better determine how we move forward with awarding or delivering the Empower Packs. I hope that answers the
question. Kind of on a case-by-case basis for those
absolutely, yeah,
newly diagnosed, right? Okay, great. There's another question from Mackenzie. A gap we have experienced is with childcare. We could not put our son in traditional daycare because sickness is such a big deal for us, but we still need to be able to work. There's a Toronto-based program that offers in-home childcare to families whose parents have cancer, but I would like to see the reverse situation. Are you aware of any programs like this? I'm aware of that, Mackenzie. It's called, they used to be called Angel Nanny Network, or now it's called, I forgot, they just changed their name. And I just emailed them yesterday to see if they had changed that criteria, because they do offer free childcare when the parent has cancer. But of course, you know, if your child has cancer and you have their siblings at home, you need childcare too. Unfortunately, they still are offering only for when a parent has cancer. But do you know of anything else?
This one has me stumped. I've not heard of a program for the child, but that's something that we can certainly take back and definitely investigate on. I mean, these open forums are really helpful in figuring that out, right? Learning a little more.
Is this something we could lobby them about, though? It's called NAN now?
Yeah, Nankind it's called now. Maybe if we get people asking, like Mackenzie said, I asked if they would be interested in expanding, or I don't know, if a coordinated effort or something like that to tell them how important it is, right? For parents whose child has cancer to get this wonderful benefit. They really didn't know of any other program. They referred us back to Gilda's Club, but I don't think they did that either. It's just a, you know, a general catch-all kind of organization. But yeah, I don't know, Susan, what do you think?
I have a question about the scholarships, if I could.
Of course, Debbie.
First of all, thank you very much, ladies. It was a great presentation, and I really appreciate a lot of the benefits that you're offering. Some of them weren't available when my son was in treatment, but I'm happy to see about the scholarship. Is that an annual? If he's in a 3-year program, does he apply 3 years, or is it just for the first year?
Sure, Debbie. So it is a one-time scholarship at this point. So he can apply at any point throughout those 3 years. He just has to provide, at this point, it's full-time status. So part-time, again, if they submit the application and it's part-time based on, you know, instead of 25 hours, it's 20 hours, you know, because they still have to go through aftercare or for whatever multitude of reasons, right? We still will make a judgment call on that. So, but again, going back to your question, as long as they are enrolled in a post-secondary of any sort, then it regardless of first year or third year, he can still apply.
Okay, and the application is approved as long as they meet all of the criteria as outlined, or is it, you know, write an essay, you know, the top, so it's an automatic?
Yeah, so throughout the stages when they apply, it is a bit of a, you know, tell us a 500 word or less. Of course, we get wonderful kids that are very wonderful at creative writing. So sometimes it's a couple pages, but just, you know, in 500 words or less, just tell us a little bit about you and why you need it. So those questions are right on the application form. And you know, every year we try to make tweaks to the program. So, you know, we've learned a few things from this year. So not 100, everything that we disclosed tonight is absolutely going to be requested, but there could be a couple nuances from now until then that will get added, but it will all be on our website. We'll probably start promoting it in the new year, so you can keep an eye on our website or subscribe to our newsletter, because we will be ensuring that people know about this scholarship program in advance and start to prepare. But the main document, so to speak, is that oncology letter or family doctor. So if you know from now until, you know, the spring, then and you're going to see your family doctor, then you can start to prepare for that in advance.
Perfect. And last question, sorry, I know one of the requirements was a thank you letter from the student. Would it be helpful if the parent also added a thank you letter, or you're just looking for the child?
You know, it's really just for the child to say thank you, but of course,
Okay.
if you also wanted to include it, again, it's after the scholarship is awarded, and we know kids are on campus and perhaps not as much as we want them to communicate with mom and dad, right? They might not be letting you know when it's due by, but of course, if you wanted to write a thank you letter, we're happy to pass that on to our committee and our donors and to read it as well. So, you know, we'd love to hear from everyone and anyone. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie. I just wanted to go back to Mackenzie. Do you have another question? But before that, Mackenzie, yes, well, thank you again for suggesting about the childcare. I know Angie and Jennifer will take that into consideration maybe for a future idea. But in the meantime, OPAC will think of something to maybe write to NANKIND to kind of lobby them to also try to expand that program to parents of children with cancer as well. Your other question, Mackenzie asked, we received an Empower Pack, but we don't know who signed us up. Is there any way for you to let us know who applied so we can properly thank them?
For sure. I guess it was probably your social worker. I hope, or you know, because it would be someone close that would know your social worker's information. So usually the forms that are completed are filled out by social workers or the family, like immediate family. So if it wasn't you, it must have been your social worker, but we do, for of course, for auditing purposes, we do keep the applications on file, so we would be able to let you know who. Actually, I don't know, we wouldn't be. Angie, what do you I'm just trying to think of our
I mean, as long as
form, because it would be their information that's inputted. I don't know if we have a source code on the application, right?
it would only be, yeah, like if it was, we would only have the information as to how it was completed. So we can certainly look look you up as the recipient and see if there's any information there. But I mean, that's a very interesting question. Normally we would definitely get the information from either the interlinked nurse or the social worker, whoever was sort of is working with you in your treatment, and identify with you what programs you'd like to sort of apply for or receive support from. So we can take that away, or Mackenzie, if you want to send a note to Jennifer on, you know, the name of your child, that way we can sort of go back and look at our reports and help you with answering that question.
Jackson said it could have been the interlinked nurse as well,
Right.
as you just mentioned.
Thanks, Jackson.
Any other questions or feedback? I did have one question real quick about the emergency fund. As you say, it has to be approved and reviewed by some volunteers. I was wondering, is it always approved as long as the criteria is met, or rather what should people do so that or any tips so that it is approved, or you know, how to avoid not being approved basically?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, generally speaking, most of the time, all applications are generally approved. Like you know, they are confidentially shared with our committee. We remove the names and address information, and it's really, we look at it as, you know, the age of the child, what city that child resides in, and then the information about why the grant or the funds are needed. And in, you know, many cases, as Jennifer said, sort of they either go into depth about, you know, there's scenarios where people can't make their rent checks because they're entrepreneurs and they can't, you know, apply for EI or whatnot. So we try to do our best to approve those as quickly as possible, because we know, you know, the last thing we want is for people to sort of lose where they live. But and I know that $250 is not a lot of money in these days. And we are looking at, you know, how we can better support families within means. You know, obviously we have to go out and source the funds through our corporate partnerships and donors and whatnot. So really it is, it's how we look at the pool of funds that we have available to us, and then we direct the funds as needed. In this case, we also want to ensure that we are staying underneath the $500 threshold that CRA sort of stipulates for, you know, folks who are either in receiving social services checks or EI, because we want to make sure that they don't have to report that income and potentially lose out on a more substantial income that they're receiving. So we're always looking at, you know, ways to support the families without hindering any other financial ways that they are receiving funds. The allotment is something that we are considering moving up this year, but again, it's we are doing that with, you know, in consultation with a few other folks to, and obviously looking at our pool of funds to ensure that we can support families with this program as well as the other programs that we have available. We do not get government funding, so again, this is it is, we do our best that we can with every situation that we come across.
Great, thank you, Angie. Any other questions or feedback before we wrap up? If they do have any questions that they think about later, Jennifer, what's your email so they can
Sure.
contact?
Yeah, if you can put the presentation back up, I'll just move it over and then we can provide everybody with our contact details. And I know I think a couple people dropped off, but if there's anyone that needs to get in touch with us, you know where we are, but our email addresses are just on the last slide of our presentation.
Do you want to put it in the chat too? Is that,
Yeah, I can put it in the chat for sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Let me do that.
Yeah, if you think of any other questions about the programming, you can contact Jennifer.
or any ideas?
Or any ideas.
I mean, yeah.
Things you want to
Yeah.
see funded in the future too, right?
Here we go. I was just going to send it to Susan. Susan already has my email, so.
Oh yeah, I see the drop down now. We're a teams environment, so Zoom is new to us as well. So just navigating these platforms, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Did you type it in, Jennifer? I don't see it here.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's see here. Oops.
There you go.
Sorry,
Jennifer.
hold on.
Oh, it's wrong. That's
sorry,
wrong.
hold on. I know. 1 second. I was too quick. Hold on.
We're all watching.
There we go. I know.
No
This is why
pressure,
it's
right?
like, what? And then Angie.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. Jennifer at childhoodcancer.ca.
It's super easy. And I totally forgot the last. We want to eliminate that word anyway, right? So that's my brain just went to there. Just childhood.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And of course, everybody, if check out childhoodcancer.ca's website for more information, and OPAC's website, opacc.org, for information on our programs like Parent Liaison Program and other financial resources we have for families. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Thank you to Angie and Jennifer. It's wonderful to connect and to let families know about all your amazing programs and how they can help as well. Yeah. So thank you for a wonderful presentation. This was recorded. We'll put it up on our YouTube tomorrow and share the links so everybody can watch it again if you missed anything.
Wonderful.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. Take good care.
Thank you.
Best.
Good night.
Right.